I heard recently a metaphor that I want to share, also maybe
Yeah.
because I'm a poet, but or simile, I guess. So this is from Christiana Figueres. I'm not saying
Nice.
her name properly, but so because I think there's everything is so interconnected that it can be hard to understand the basics.
Mm-hmm.
So she used an image of a bathtub, and our world, our atmosphere is like a bathtub, and it can only take so much CO2. And it's been filling up and filling up and filling up. And now we're really, really close to the top, and it's about to spill over. And I've had water damage in my house. It does a lot of damage. It's not something you want. But this is going to spill over, and it's going to create worse than water damage. And so the idea is to stop it, we need to turn off the faucet so that more CO2 is not going into the bathtub, which means stopping all fossil fuels. And we need to open the drain, which means planting trees, conserving, even more important than planting trees, conserving the trees, the wetlands, the waters that we already have, that regenerative culture that we've been talking about for the natural environment and for people's jobs, investing in those things for a healthier world and healthier people. And I feel like sometimes, even for me, sometimes it's like, it's so confusing because there's water, there's droughts, there's lungs, there's air, there's like, how do I understand it all? And I just like that. I like that image because it's pretty simple. Like everything else is connected to that basic setup.
Yeah. That's super, super useful. I hope people reuse that in their next conversation when talking about this. Another hugely important thing, which I don't think gets enough airtime, is even just like in the climate space, is like carbon farming, regenerative agriculture. That's a huge carbon sink if we get our soils working for us, and it also is a win-win like so many other solutions because it'll make our food healthier. So yeah, to tie us back into the beginning of the convo of how these are win-win solutions, we could do a whole nother thing on the Green New Deal or Green New Deal-like policies, because we have the answers. They're here. They're ready. We just need the power. We need to build this power to make the changes happen. And crucially, like you said, centering it on justice and really putting people at the forefront of this transition.
Yeah. And this, just even to bring it back to the beginning of the conversation even more, this coronavirus pandemic is a time of reset, a time when we're seeing how vulnerable our society is. Mm-hmm. We're just seeing an even more relief, the inequity and the unhealth. And we are going to need to start up again. And so it's an opportunity to put into place really green, healthy, justice-oriented solutions for a healthy, safe, just, equitable future for everybody.
That is a huge, huge point. There's going to be trillions. There's already been trillions of dollars dumped into the economy. There's going to be trillions of dollars more in recovery to reboot the economy. And we need to do everything we can right now to make sure that is a green stimulus. Because not only is it crucial for climate change, but it's also, there's this recent study that came out of Oxford. They surveyed like a couple hundred of the top financial people around the world, academics, banks, investors, you name it. And they said that a lot of the top stimulus policy options were green. They were low carbon options. So again, this is like a win-win, critically important right now, and we need to start talking about this stuff more.
So can we leave people maybe with just a few little action steps that they can do or that they can share with their community for what to do around this. So how can we leverage this message? What can people do?
Yeah. So I've actually done some research of my own on this before. And by that, I just mean I reached out to like 50 experts in the climate sustainability sphere and heard back from, like 16 or 17. And basically what they all said as the most effective thing that people can do boils down into a few buckets. Educating yourself, talking about this issue with friends and family, like we were talking about earlier, voting, huge election coming up in the US, and I'm sure in many other places around the world. Similarly, calling your representative, like we were just saying, this is a like we're not going to get this kind of amount of money pumped into the economy again. We need to make sure that goes to the right places. So calling your reps, letting them know what you want, why you want it. You can throw in the Green New Deal if you'd like. And then potentially the most powerful, in my opinion, especially when we can go and be together again, is to organize with other people, to work with each other towards that systemic change. And I'd definitely like to plug XR. I also like Sunrise. There's Fridays for Future. There's so many movements out there. I would just encourage people to learn about them and find the one that's the best fit for them.
Yeah. If you're not already involved in one of those groups, there's so many ways to get involved. So, it's really, really crucial that we stand together and show people how, important these issues are to us, because representatives listen. They're supposed to. Their job is to listen to the people. And I saw, recently that there's a Sanders-Biden climate task force, which I was really encouraged to see. And that is because Sunrise, which represents partly because I'm sure there are lots of other things, but partly because Sunrise, which represents the younger generation, and Biden really needs that vote, care so much about this issue. So that is just so, to me, encouraging that people, because they have come out to the streets and said, this matters to us, politicians are paying attention.
Yeah.
And so, it's super important to register to vote, to know your rights in terms of absentee ballots, because who knows how easy it's going to be to get to the polls in November. So most states allow people to register and vote with an absentee ballot. So, telling friends and family. So all of this is so important. And Ryan, you have an amazing Crowdcast Solutions newsletter and community also, which has great resources for people who want to get more involved.
Yeah. I can definitely throw a link to my email or Crowdsourcing Sustainability if anyone wants to chat. And I'm sure you can do the same if anyone wants to follow up on this.
Yeah, that's great.